He pursued her, calling her by name. He brought her a second chance, a new beginning, a different story. So she is digging deep, focused on a dream. She is working the plan, showing up, pressing in. With God living in her and with her, she is beating the odds. And she's not on the journey alone. Every step of the way, Inside Out Reentry Services is with her, offering support, hope, and a plan for the future. For the first time, she has a community advocating for her, praying for her, and loving her. Day by day, she is changing for good. Every woman at Inside Out has a story. And her story is just beginning.
Good evening. I'm Sherry Bear, Executive Director of Inside Out Reentry Services. I'm so glad to see all of you tonight and happy that you could come and help celebrate with us. As you know, tonight's theme is We Are Inside Out. Thinking back, can you remember your first experience with Inside Out? Maybe you were involved from the beginning over 13 years ago, or maybe it was more recent. Tonight may be your first encounter, and if so, welcome. No matter when you connected with Inside Out, there was a reason why you did. Some of us came to Inside Out at a critical time in our lives, in need of healing from addiction and trauma. Some of us came to serve and support others on their recovery journeys. Many of us came because we believed in the mission and work of Inside Out. We believed in Christ's power to heal and reconcile and restore. And we wanted to be a part of something much bigger than ourselves. Now, take just a moment and ask yourself, how has Inside Out changed you? What have you learned and experienced? Who has been brought into your life? And how has your heart been opened? If this is your first introduction to Inside Out, we hope that tonight gives you a sense of the incredible transformations that are happening. Our personal histories with Inside Out are all unique, but there's another story we want to celebrate too, and that's our shared story. Look around this room, full of people who have said yes to Inside Out. We may have very different past, but we have all experienced pain and brokenness. We have all made mistakes and needed forgiveness and healing. We have all experienced loneliness and hunger for community. When we said yes to Inside Out, even just yes to being here this evening, we opened a door and stepped into a story much bigger than our own. It's a story we all play a role in, recovery and restoration, where we lift others up and are also uplifted. Inside Out offers opportunity after opportunity for us to love more, serve more, and to surrender more, all to become who Christ wants us to be. We're going to hear 3 incredible testimonies tonight. But first, I want to recognize a very special woman who said yes to Inside Out. When our organization was founded in 2011, Lovey Bird stepped up to serve on our board of directors. Starting in 2019, she also served as board secretary. Over the past 13 years, her contributions and impact have been immeasurable. Lovey recently made the decision to step down from the board, and we wanted to take a moment to honor her tonight. As many of you know, Lovey has also spent the past 4 decades working in the Department of Corrections. She has provided us with incredible knowledge on what women face when re-entering society. Lovey, your empathy, conviction, and integrity have been a true blessing to Inside Out. We will miss having you on the board. Will you stand so we may honor you? Thank you, Lovey. And thanks to all of you for saying yes and being here tonight. We are Inside Out, and God has big plans for every single one of us. If you need a reminder of this biblical truth, just listen to the women who are about to share their stories. Karen, Brianna, and Jonna are here tonight because they said yes to Inside Out. And we are so thankful to hear their testimonies. Please join me in welcoming Karen Rowan.
Hi. My name is Karen, and I graduated from Inside Out in 2017. I was raised in Philadelphia in a Catholic family where alcohol and abuse was prevalent. My dad would come home drunk, and his arguments with my mom often ended up physical. She took a lot of beatings, and eventually so did I. I spent many hours in the ER where my mom always claimed I had fallen down. My dad's abuse wasn't just physical. He used to say to me, "You are no good SOB who would never amount to anything." That statement stuck with me for a long time. In the midst of all this, I was also being sexually abused by a neighbor and a family member. Those experiences destroyed my innocence, and I started drinking alcohol at a very young age. One safe person in my life was my older cousin Barbara, who took me to Bible studies and church on Sundays. I accepted Christ as my Savior at the age of 15, but I wasn't ready to fully let him be Lord of my life. After Barbara moved away, I stopped going to church On my 20th birthday, I got pregnant with my daughter. When she was 10 months old, we moved to Oklahoma where my cousin Barbara was living. I started going back to church and Bible studies. I was playing the good part, Christian woman, but I was broken inside. When my daughter was 5, my mom passed away, and instead of turning to God, I turned to alcohol. I drank from the time I got up till the time I went to bed. One night, in a drunken rage, I threw my daughter across the room. By the grace of God, she wasn't injured, but I immediately poured all the alcohol down the drain. I pivoted from alcoholism to workaholism, continuing to bury the hurt inside. I was working as a manager in a restaurant industry when I was first introduced to methamphetamines. From the very first time, I was hooked. I used a little at first, but then every day I did a little more. I also became addicted to gambling. And eventually these things got so out of control, I started embezzling money from the place that I worked. When my employer found out, I lost my job of almost 10 years. Man, worst of all, my teenage daughter had to go live with friends because I wasn't able to take care of her. I learned that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. For almost 20 years of my life, I was living the definition of insanity. I started stealing from larger companies and trading products to support my addictions. But even that wasn't enough. So I started to sell and make drugs. For years, I had no stable employment or living situation. When the woman I was dealing drugs with got in trouble, I discovered a new way to support my addictions, making counterfeit checks. Once again, I was living large, or at least I thought I was. On November 3rd, 2015, I went back to my hotel room to find the Tulsa Police Detective Division waiting for me. After avoiding charges for many years, I was finally charged with numerous felonies. I was sentenced to 4 years supervised probation. I went from having thousands of dollars in my pocket to living at the day center and the Salvation Army. My daughter wouldn't allow me to see my grandson unless I changed. Man, that devastated me. I realized how much I had hurt her, and she was afraid for herself and her son because of the woman I become. But even though that she couldn't let me be around her son, she always tried to help me. She was the one that gave me the number to Inside Out. Man, God had me right where he needed me to be. Yeah. A friend of mine introduced me to Celebrate Recovery, and I know I needed to make a change. I scheduled an interview with Inside Out, and I was accepted. When I came to Inside Out, I experienced true love, sometimes tough love, and grace. It didn't matter what I looked like or what I had done. They showed me love and met me right where I was at. I started a step study, which is where my healing began. I finally surrendered to God and asked him to open up my eyes, my heart, and my mind. I had realized that he'd been Savior of my life, but now I wanted him to be Lord of my life too. Inside Out changed my life by giving me structure accountability, and the tools to become a productive member of society. In less than 1 year, I was taken off supervised probation, I paid off my debts, and I regained the trust of my old employer. It's been 7 years since I graduated Inside Out, and this November, I will celebrate 9 years of sobriety. Yeah, man. I'm a member of Southern Hills, and I serve as the Celebrate Recovery leader. Someday, I hope to open up a restaurant and provide safe employment to others in recovery. I am so thankful to have a community of Christian women who share in my pain and my joy, and who I can count on for the rest of my life. Man, most amazing of all, I have my daughter Kristen, my grandson Alex, my granddaughter Kayla in my life. Now that's restoration. For a long time, I heard my daddy's painful words in my head and in my heart, telling me I was no good and I would never amount to anything. But in my step study, my heavenly daddy showed me I am worthy and he loves me and that he has big plans for me. I am Karen Rowan and I am Inside Out. Our next testimony is my Inside Out sister, Brianna Thomas.
Hello. My name is Brianna, and I'm proud to be part of the Inside Out story. When I was growing up, violence, drugs, and homelessness were considered normal. Both my parents were addicted to drugs, and the things I was exposed to left me filled with rage and confusion. It is no surprise that I was addicted to drugs and alcohol by the age of 15. By 17, I was pregnant with my first child. I got sober, but then relapsed after my daughter was born. I became pregnant with my second child at 18. By this time, my mom had been sober for a few years, and we both knew where I was headed, so she decided it was best to take my kids into her care. After that, I was arrested numerous times. Every time I was released, I went back to the streets and ended up right back in jail with the same charges. Finally, on June 2nd, 2021, I was arrested for the last time. I was offered 15 years in prison, and I found out I was pregnant with my third child. My entire world stopped. I felt those same feelings I had as a child, scared, sick, and alone. It was the lowest I have ever been. Believing I was headed to prison, I felt completely hopeless, but God had other plans. I hadn't been in jail long when I asked the chaplain to help me. He talked with me and prayed with me, and I confessed my sins and accepted Christ as my Savior. I immediately got serious about my faith and began to read my Bible religiously. The more I read my Bible, the more my faith grew. I searched for options for my unborn baby, but I didn't find any answers. My faith did not falter, though. Instead, it continued to grow. The time came for court, and by God's good grace, most of the charges against me were dropped. I was released that day, and I went to the safety at my grandma's house. I knew I could not do recovery alone, so I began looking for a program. God brought Inside Out to me, And even though I was unsure, I interviewed and was accepted. When I came to Inside Out, my baby was just 1 week old, and Inside Out made it possible for her to come with me. I was so afraid DHS would take her due to my past, but Inside Out advocated for me, and I was able to keep her in my care. Inside Out gave me clothes for her and set up a nursery for her with everything she needed. Inside Out has changed my life in so many ways. I have learned that God is with me and for me, no matter what I have done. While completing my step study through Celebrate Recovery, I joined Southern Hills Church and was baptized there on May 1st, 2022. God also gave me an amazing job that I absolutely love. I'm the administrative assistant at Dayspring Community Services and have been there for 2 years now. I graduated from Inside Out last year and then moved to my own apartment this January. They helped me get my driver's license back, and I just purchased a new car for the first time by myself. So, my family relationships are being restored, and that brings me immense joy. More than anything, I love being a mom, like a real life mom, one with lazy days, crazy days, and days where I can sit and see what God is doing and has done in my life. With the help I have received, God brought my son back to me in my care in January 2023. My oldest daughter also comes over on weekends, holidays, and summers. I have a great co-parenting situation with her dad and his wife, who are some of my biggest supporters. I also love being part of Southern Hills Church community, where I volunteer with the preschool and usher teams, and am currently working on becoming a leader at Celebrate Recovery. On June 2nd, I celebrated 3 years of sobriety. Not every day is perfect. In fact, there are quite a few days when I feel the devil trying to attack me. But now I know to lean on the Lord when I feel down, and I know He always has my back. My life is better than it's ever been. Even my worst days sober are still way better than my best days high. I also know that my story is just beginning. I was recently accepted into college and will be majoring in pre-social work before going on to get my master's. My goal is to become a licensed clinical social worker. I would also like to visit prisons as a Department of Corrections volunteer to encourage the women there. I plan to stay close to Inside Out and be an encourager to the girls in the program, showing them that recovery is possible. Isaiah 60:22 says, "The smallest family shall multiply into a clan, the tiny group shall be a mighty nation. I, the Lord, will bring it to pass when it is time." I am looking forward to seeing how God will use me and my family, and I will patiently wait on His timing for all these things. Inside Out has truly changed my life, and I know it has changed all our lives in different ways. I am Brianna Thomas, and I am Inside Out. My Inside Out sister, Jonna Sharp, will share with you now.
Hello, my name is the one who Jesus loves, formerly known as Johnny Rotten. I graduated from Inside Out in 2019. I was raised in a Native American home with lots of highs, lots of lows, but never a steady plane. I remember constant drinking, drugs, sexual perversion, and no structure or discipline. I was watching porn by age 10, doing drugs by age 12, and by 14, I had begun dating girls and doing methamphetamines. My mom paid our bills but was never home. My dad moved out when I was 14 and said I couldn't come with him. I was a daddy's girl, and this was devastating. I got through high school and managed to act like everything was normal, despite the drugs, drinking, abandonment, and pain I was experiencing. I became a master at hiding. I was so good at hiding. From the age of 7 to 15, I convinced everyone who didn't know otherwise that I was a boy. When I was 19, I began to prostitute myself and my girlfriend all over the United States. At age 23, I started my next career, selling drugs in 3 different states. This was the darkest time of my life. I hated the light. I flirted with death, not caring if I lived or died. But still, part of me was searching for meaning. I wanted truth, I wanted reality, and I wanted to know love. In my searching, I dove into paranormal activity, witchcraft, and divination. I went looking for whatever was out there, challenging and offering myself to entities, hoping they would answer and accept me since no one else would. I was desperate for something real. One night, I was trying to experience the paranormal, and instead, I had a powerful encounter with love himself. I later realized that Jesus had met me that night and changed my life completely, but not in the way that I expected. The next day, I was arrested across the street from the police station. On my first court date, I said, I don't care. Sign me up for prison. Let's go. I wanted to make new connections and get back to the streets as soon as possible. But in reality, I was being set apart. I spent the next 12 months getting to know my Savior and praying for my next step, hoping for anything Celebrate Recovery related. I read the Bible front to back. Within 3 to 4 months, I was helping to lead church in that jail. The next step for me was Inside Out Reentry Services. I realized I did not want to go back home after all. And Inside Out volunteers came and picked me up from prison. I entered the program and found my new family. I finally had consistency, steadiness, and people willing to love me from shattered to whole, walking out recovery day by day. 7 years after meeting Jesus, life is still real, with lots of highs and lots of lows. I'm still working through my childhood experiences and old thought patterns. I'm terrified of abandonment, yet I always expect it. I often fear that I'm too much, yet not enough. This is where the importance of the Inside Out family comes in. Through Inside Out, God brought me a mentor willing to stay even when I'm at my worst, to sort through my mess with me, and to remind me daily that I'm chosen and wanted and valued. I want to challenge you to lock arms with someone and pour your life into them, as my story is proof of what a difference you can make. When I graduated from Inside Out in 2019, my dream was to be a foster mom. I do not have kids, but I was told that I would never be able to foster due to my record. But guess who is now the proud safe space for 3 precious little children? This chick. I'm honored to have the privilege of giving them trust, safety, consistency, tools to self-regulate, connection, affection, a voice, a healthy, firm foundation, and most of all, identity. That just made me think, like, all my life I felt like I didn't have a voice, and it's a strange feeling reading this to hear, like, sit here and look at all of you guys listening to me. So I just want to say thank you real quick. My life now, thank you so much. My life now is full of redemption. This year is my 7th year of celebrating recovery. After I graduated from Inside Out, I returned to Las Vegas, where I was an escort for many men who visited Sin City. But this time, I escorted the love of Jesus Christ to the city of lost sinners. A good friend, it was incredible. It was incredible. A good friend once told me that it's not about figuring out who you are, but whose you are. I spent years trying to figure out who wanted me, where I belonged. And today, as I understand whose I am, my entire bloodline is being transformed. I'm one of the first in my family to be found in Christ, and I know I won't be the last. A pastor I know spoke a word of me that said, "You are called God's girl." And as I began writing this testimony for you, I started by staring at a photo of myself when I was 7 months old. At that moment, I asked God what he thought of me then. And he said, "That's Daddy's girl. I am Jonna Sharp, and I am Inside Out."
I started my addiction when I was 12, and it ended when I was 24. My household growing up was very violent.
I had some things happen to me as a child that I pushed down and didn't talk about, and it came out in drug usage as a way to cover up and mask feelings.
I used multiple times a day, just miserable, absolutely miserable, and lonely and scared, not knowing what to do, didn't know how to get away from this drug. After I screamed at God and was asking him why is this happening to me, the next day I said, "God, please help me. Please help me, I need help." It was over and over for hours.
At Inside Out, our mission is to provide advocacy, resources, and discipleship to help women rebuild their lives.
I decided that I was going to go through with this program because as much as I didn't want to go to a faith-based sober living, I knew I needed sober living because if I was honest with myself, I knew that I would relapse if I ended up going back home.
I think that was God's way of getting me closer to him by putting me in this program.
Inside Out is a faith-based transitional living program. And so that's probably the most important component is that our ladies are in church for Monday night for Bible study, on Wednesday night for trust-based parenting class, on Friday night for Celebrate Recovery, and on Sunday morning for life group in church. And growing in that relationship with Christ is the most important component.
A big part of my conversion to Christianity was the Bible study that took place on Monday nights. We would discuss just one little part of the Bible and kind of dissect it. Little by little, the Bible started making sense to me because I always just thought it was this book of stories. That wasn't true. I was able to really open up, and which was something I had never done before because I always hid parts of myself.
We saw a need in our program for our women to have counseling on an ongoing basis. And so we were able to hire a counselor on staff to work with the ladies week in and week out.
It is mandatory at first, and then you kind of get into it and it's like, this really helps. It really helps to talk to someone about everything.
Being able to take advantage of that as an alumni is really such a blessing, to me, because I don't have to worry about not being able to afford counseling, and it's somebody that I'm already familiar with and comfortable with, so that makes a big difference also.
Inside Out provided an attorney. Not even like a month or two later, I want to say I had my son moving back in with me full time.
One of the things that we're extremely passionate about is helping women get their children back in their care. We go with them to court many times to advocate for them and just be present with them so they're not going alone.
Inside Out would come to court with me and advocate for me on my behalf, which was great because they would tell them all the progress I was making because, who believes an addict?
My goals were to get both of my kids back. They helped navigate my relationship back to me getting visits and to me being a part of my son's life again.
There is not a way these women could maneuver the legal system on their own.
One of my goals that I let them know was to learn how to live as a responsible adult. I didn't know how to be a mother because I didn't raise my kids, my mom did.
Our trust-based parenting classes, it's a great place for our women to learn new tools for how to parent. Their children have come from very hard places, and so they really need to learn new tools so that they can connect and then correct their children in a way that brings healing to them and is not punitive.
It hits spot on with our kids and us too, because we are those parents that are struggling and came from hard places, and here are our kids, and how can we mend and heal this relationship so we can grow and flourish and be healthy.
We are so proud of the fact that we have 173 children are back in the care of their moms in these years working with women and children.
Inside Out really stepped up and helped me prove myself that I was a fit mother and that I could do this and that I was making the right choices and moving forward in life and staying sober and doing all the requirements that was needed.
By virtue of living in houses together and because they are interacting with our staff and our volunteers and people at church, our ladies have an opportunity to grow and to learn and to really become the mothers and women that they want to be.
My name is Lindsay Martinson.
I'm Joy Brown.
I am Brianna Thomas.
I'm Kendall Rourke.
And I am Inside Out.
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 Good evening. I serve alongside a thoughtful, committed, generous board of directors, and my name is Randy K. Young. Tonight we're celebrating the theme, We Are Inside Out. There is a part of us that is deeply connected with Inside Out Reentry Services. It has influenced who we are and how we see the world. We are inside out, and we are better for it. We've grown in compassion. We have learned that we all have something to offer the world, no matter our background, our education, or family of origin. We have been reminded that God's plan for us is to have a future and a hope, and that no one is beyond his reach. We have been convicted of the power of prayer and the importance of community. And on a regular basis, we have seen God's work up close. Miracles happen when God's redemptive power and grace meets with our brokenness. He uses it to create beautiful stories. These transforming miracles happen regularly at Inside Out, and not just among the women we serve, but for all those who get close enough to experience it. We get close in a number of ways. We serve as Bible study leaders, mentors, drivers, board members, and more. You can learn more about volunteering with Inside Out by taking a look at your response card that is on the table tonight. That's what they look like. Please indicate if you're interested in learning more about these opportunities. Not everyone can be a mentor, and not everyone is called to lead a Bible study. And most of us are not qualified to represent someone in court. But supporting this ministry with financial gifts is an undeniable part of what makes Inside Out possible. Just recently, one family's incredible generosity made it possible for us to raise $26,000 for our program. After losing their loved one, the family of Catherine Flowers chose to donate their inheritance in an estate sale, and they blessed our organization. We are eternally grateful. Would you please join me in recognizing the family of Catherine Flowers for their extraordinary and generous gift to our ministry? Thank you. Thank you so much. No matter who you are, you can say you are Inside Out. For example, there are 336 people seated here tonight. If every one of you pledged $10 per month, we would have $3,360 per month to spend on bus passes, baby supplies, toiletries, school supplies, and the many other needs that are ongoing in the lives of the women and children that we serve. A monthly pledge provides a great resource of financial stability for a nonprofit. A pledge of $10 from each person in this room would make a very significant difference in our ability to continue the mission of Inside Out. If you would like to help in this way, please use your response card to indicate you'd like to set up reoccurring monthly donations or include a check, or you can mail it to our office. Please locate the response card on your table and let us know your commitment, how you want to be involved, and please give it to your table host. You can, from where you sit tonight, make a difference in the lives and the women we serve in our community. We are all Inside Out. Thank you for being here tonight and sharing your valuable time with us. Thank you for buying raffle tickets, for bidding on the silent auction, and thank you for your monthly commitments and for every financial donation, big and small. To those of you who are our sponsors, and for those who have donated items to the live auction, your generosity has made the work of this ministry tonight possible. We are all grateful. We are Inside Out. Thank you to those who have given their time and resources to Inside Out in the past. You are a part of the transformative stories you have heard tonight. If you are choosing tonight to support Inside Out, you too will be a part of the miraculous, generational, changing work of Inside Out in the future. In closing, we want to thank you for participating in the auction that follows, with the knowledge that you are the invaluable agents of life change that takes place daily at Inside Out. And if you choose to drive up the bids, it's not going to hurt our feelings. For the auction items, we will celebrate alongside of you. Thank you. We all are Inside Out.
Oh my goodness, this is so fun. Man, those stories are absolutely amazing. Thank you, Randy Kay. Well, you heard Randy Kay talk about where some of the money goes, but you can imagine how many other needs that there are. And we're calling this Fund the Need. I'm going to explain what that is. Okay, so the Kathleen S. Craft Foundation is matching every dollar raised in the next few minutes, okay, in the next few minutes, up to $25,000 for these 3 specific needs that they found very close to their heart. Education for the women. You can imagine how important that is, right? Dental work for the women. We don't want it till we need it, and then we need it real bad, right? And then counseling for the children of the women of Inside Out. So you're not only changing this generation, but the next generation and everything after that. So this is really, really special time. So Madison, our auctioneer, will direct this live ask for these 3 specific needs. So what an opportunity that every dollar you give will be doubled for education, dental work, and counseling. So you give 10, it turns into 20. You give 1,000, it turns into 2,000, and so on and so on. So this is the perfect time to give. Know that you will contribute the amount you commit tonight on your phone. Okay, so if you don't have the app already, there's little QR codes in your program. Just download that into your phone, and on the home page, there it is. It's right there. It's gigantic. You can also pay by check. It'll just walk you right through it on that app, okay? It's super easy. If you have any trouble with it, there's plenty of people to help. So if you do know what a check is and you want to write a check, just put it in that envelope on your table, and that will work as well. I'm going to take this out. There we go. All right, so let's at least match the $25,000 from the Kathleen S. Craft Foundation or exceed it. It's the perfect time. Everything is doubled. Take it away.
Yes, thank you. My name is Madison Freeman. I'll be the auctioneer tonight. Thank you for having me back again this year. Ron Spiva right here, he's going to be helping take your bids and your donations, and there's some other people around the room. I do have a few smaller rounds for this Fund a Need that I was going to go through, but I just got to thinking, I know there's one person in the $25,000 round that she just mentioned, so I thought, well, maybe there's another one out there. So if there's somebody that just wants to smash this thing out of the park right off the bat, we're going to start at the $25,000 round. Is there anybody that can give $25,000 for these 3 specific needs? If there is, you can hold up your bid card and we will get your number. Anybody at the $25,000 round? Anybody at all? All right, no worries. We're going to move on down to $10,000. Anybody at $10,000 can give $10,000 for these specific needs. $10,000. Just raise your bid card up and we will take your number. $10,000. Anybody at all? Anybody out there at 10,000? 10,000. Anybody in the back at 10,000? All right. Well, we're going to move on down to 5,000. So hopefully we can get 5 of these. $5,000. Is there anybody that can give $5,000 for these specific needs out there? Yes, right here. We've got 505. Give her a round of applause, and let's get this thing going. 505. Anybody else at the $5,000 mark? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody in the back? Make sure you hold that bid card up high so I can see. Anybody else at the $5,000 round? All right, no worries. We'll move on to 2,500. Anybody at 2,500? Can anybody give 2,500 to fund the need for these 3 things? 2,500. Anybody at all at 2,500? 2,500. Yes, 3, 6, 7. Give them a round of applause. 2,500. 3, 6, 7. Anybody else at $2,500? Anybody else at 2,500? 2,500. All right, let's move on to $1,000. $1,000. Is there anybody that can give $1,000 for these needs? $1,000. Hold that bid card up. Yes, 446. Bidder number 446 at the $1,000 round. Anybody else? Anybody else at the $1,000? $1,000. Anybody else? All right, moving on to $500. Anybody at $500, you can give $500. Hold that bidder card up. 500, thank you. 4, 7, 6, 5, 2, 9. Anybody else at $500? Yes, 3, 6, 6 at $500. Hopefully we can get a few more. Anybody else at $500? Hold that bidder card up. Anybody else? $500? Anybody else? We're trying to match 25,000. Yes, thank you. 471, 471, and 330, 330. Anybody else at $500? Yes, 424, 424. Anybody else at $500? Anybody else at 500? Yes, 425 and 400 at $500. Anybody else at $500? Yes, 306. Thank you, thank you. Anybody else at $500 so that we can match? Thank you. 365, 365. Anybody else at $500 so that we can match this 25,000? Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes, I knew there was somebody in the back. 304 at $500. 304. Anybody else at $500? All right, how about 250? $250. Anybody at $250? Thank you. Hold them up. Thank you. Hold them up. I'm going to start on this side of the room and come across. 410 at $250. 374 at $250. 392 at $250. Anybody else? Yes. 404 at $250. 518 at $250. 483 at $250. 407 at $250. Man, this table's got it. 326 at $250. 375 and 509 at $250. Anybody else at $250? Anybody else? All right, no worries. One more round at $100. Anybody at $100 that could donate to match this 25,000? Anybody at $100? Raise that bidder card up if you can. Anybody at $100? Yes, 498. Thank you. 362, 429, 541, 383, 453, 532. Thank you. Anybody else as I come across the room? Yes, 335 at $100. Anybody else? Yee-hee! 376 at $100. Thank you. And 481 at $100. 538 at $100. 524 at $100. Anybody else? Yes. 435 at $100. Anybody else? Anybody else at $100? All right. Thank you.
All right. That is so fun. Thank you, Madison. Okay, remember to take care of that. Make sure you have the app. Look for Fund the Need on the homepage, and it'll walk you right through it. Okay, I am waiting for someone to bring me some names. We're going to announce some winners of the auction, of the raffle, right? The raffle. Who's bringing me those?
Right
Debbie's
here.
getting them. All right. There you go. Yay, Debbie. Thank you. Okay, these are the raffle items, and the winners are, you ready? Okay, the Apple Watch was won by Rick Collier. Woo! Where are you, Rick? There you are. Hi, Rick. Apple Watch is yours. Okay, the next one is the Breville Nespresso machine, won by Gwen Jones. Hey, Gwen. Good job. All right, the Hasty Bake Ranger was won by Kevin Andrew. Congratulations. All right, the GE Nugget Ice Maker. Those are cool. Carla Wright. Carla Wright, good job. And the Breville Oven Air Fryer Pro How many times a day do we use that, honey? Like 3 times a day. We love that thing. Nelta, is it Rives? Did I say that right? I hope so.
Yeah, she's back there.
Good job, Nelda. All right, so if you participated in the raffle and you bought tickets for that, I want you to know that all this money goes to so many different needs, and one of the needs are, did you know Inside Out has 5 cars? 5 cars. Gets them to their meetings, gets them to their jobs, to their court dates and things like that, and it takes a lot of maintenance to keep those cars going. So that's just an example of where your money is going tonight, all right? So thank you guys so much if you participated in the raffle. Okay, next up is the pick of the auction winner. All right. Hope you know what you want. Where's Keith? Okay, Madison's gonna find out what he wants. The Florida trip.
Hey, $500 high to get to $500. Hey, $500 down high to get to $500. How about $250? Hey, $250 where high to get to $250, $250 to get to $250. Hey, $250, $250, $250 now $350 to get to $350 to get to $350, $350. I got you in the back. $350 to get to $350 where high to get to $350 to get to $350 anywhere to get to $350. High to get to $350 down high to get to $350, $350 to get to $350. All in. Last call, $350, and I have sold it back there in the back, $300. Bidder number 523. Buyer number 523.
All right. That's awesome. Are we ready for the next one? Moving right along. Okay. This is fun. 4-night stay for 8 in Carbondale, Colorado. The mountains are calling. All right. Enjoy a luxurious stay in the spacious 4-bedroom, 4.5-bath home in Carbondale, Colorado. It's just 30 minutes from Aspen and Snowmass Ski Resort. Each bedroom features its own ensuite bathroom with fabulous views down the valley towards a large lake and the mountains. Oh, man. The home has a spacious living area and a large balcony with outdoor dining, seating, a grill, a large game room with a Peloton bike, and a baby nursery adjoining one of the bedrooms. The home is nestled in a lovely neighborhood with a swimming pool, gym, playground, volleyball court, fabulous hikes and bike paths nearby, and there are excellent restaurants, golf courses a short drive away. So you must travel by September 26, 2025 on dates mutually agreed upon by the owner. And this item is made possible by an anonymous donor.
All right, on the Colorado trip, you tell me, what do you want to give? High to get it now, $5,000 where? Hey, $5,000, how about $1,000? High to get it $1,000 where? High to get it $1,000 to get it $1,000. Yes, I am. Sorry
Window
about that.
cleaning.
All right, on the window cleaning. This was pretty hot last year. High to get it $2,000 where? High $2,000 to get it $2. How about $1,000? $8,000 high to get it $1,000 to get it $1,000 where? $8,000. How about $500? $500 high to get it $500. $500 to get it $500 where? $500 high to get it $500 where? High to get it $500 now $600. $600 now $7. $700 to get it $700 where? $700 high to get it $700 where? To get it $700 now $8. $800 to get it $800 to get it $800 where? $800 high to get it $800 where? $800 down high to get it $800. I'm with you, Ron. At $700 now $800. $800 now $9. $900 now $1,000. $900 now $1,000. I got $900 back there now $1,000 to get $1,000 where? Hey, to get $1,000 to get $1,000 to get $1,000. I'm $900 in the back. Would you do $1,000? To get $1,000 where? $8,000 now $1,100. $1,100. Oh, $1,100 to get $1,100. Come on back in. $1,100 to get $1,100 where? $1,100 to get $1,100. $1,100 to get $1,100. All in. Last call $1,100 and I have $1,100 now $1,200. Hey, 1200. 1200 where? Hey, 1200. Now 13. Hey, 13. 13. Come on, it's your turn. 1300 where? Get a $1,300 down. Hey, 1300. Would you do it? What's he gonna say, Ron? Hey, 1300. Hey, 13. Now 14. To get a 1400. Hey, 14. Now 1500. Hey, 1500. To get a $1,500 down. 1500. 1500. To get a 1500. 1500. 15. Now 1600. Hey, 1600. To get a 16 where? Hey, 1600. 1600. $2,000. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, 2,000 now 2250. Hey, 2,000 now 2250. 2250. How to get to 2250? What do you do? 21? 2100. How to get to 21? 1 to get to 21. All in. Last call, and I have sold it. $2,000. Bidder number 370. Bidder number 370.
Clean windows in your future. That's awesome. All right, next item up is the New York Pizza Experience. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll host a deliciously memorable evening for up to 20 guests in your own kitchen.